Hello and welcome back to another episode of From the Jump podcast. We're here on episode 2. I'm your host DJ with a few of my co-hosts and bro hosts. To my left, I got
Big Tone.
You know what's going on. And to my right, I got
Ayo.
And behind the camera, the man behind the scenes. Just give him a quick shout out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My boy Alex. I want to thank all of you for being here with us today, man. And you know, before we start the podcast off, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watched the first episode, that's giving us feedback. You know, just all the positive vibes, and you know, just giving us that energy for us doing it for our first time, and you know, just reaching out, showing love, the repost, everything is much love and appreciated. Shout out to, you know, Devon, and you know, my mom, Annie's, all y'all. Like, it's appreciated, man. It's much love. So today we're gonna get right into it. You know what it is, NBA basketball. You know, it's that season. We're getting closer to the playoffs, and we're gonna start with stacking the different teams that are acquiring different pieces. So first and foremost, I want to start with the Brooklyn Nets. As we see, they already had Kyrie and KD to start the season. Now you add James Harden, then you add Blake Griffin, then you add LaMarcus Aldridge, and you still got Joe Harris, and you still got DeAndre Jordan. How you feeling about that, man?
Man, I feel like, this is my opinion, I'm not accustomed to the new basketball way.
Mm-hmm.
You battle with whoever, you know, you got. You don't assemble type of things. I'm old-fashioned when it comes to that. Now, I'm not knocking that. Nothing's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. That's what you do, cool. But I'm like, I'd rather go battle-tested with, you know, not necessarily a lesser roster, but a more balanced roster for everybody else.
Right.
So I feel like we all should compete with one another. That's why I respect 90s basketball for what it was when it comes to competition in the early 2000s, that type of stuff. But I don't like what the Nets did. Now, do I like it for the fact that if LeBron wins, in my opinion, it makes him the GOAT. So that's what I like. But outside of that, man, I can't really ride with the Nets like that. That's just my opinion. When KD went to Golden State, I felt the same way, but it was a little different. But this time, that's bad. Like, they got basically got an all-star team on one team.
Yeah. Hey, yo.
I don't know, because you already know in this day and age, it's all about championships and how many rings you got on your, sheet at the end of the day. So whatever you want to say at the end of the day,
Okay.
that's what you're looking at. So you can't really say too much about them doing what they're doing because no one's going to remember them. I mean, no one's going to remember Harden going to the, doing all the shenanigans and all the shit he did.
Yeah. The club.
All they're going to remember is him going to the Brooklyn Nets
and winning the championship.
That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
I'll say it's a little difficult for me because, you know, like Tony was saying, I don't know with, you know, just the competition factor of it. You know, like you said, they have current All-Stars and former All-Stars and all that. Like, they got the Monstars from top to bottom.
Yeah, they do.
You know? And so with that, it's going to make LeBron's championship, if he were to win it this year, is going to make it look really good.
Insane.
Right.
Insane. I mean, that gives you the final roster that everybody talks about when it comes to Jordan and LeBron that could put him over the hump.
Right.
Like you legit telling Mike, like, you got to play against Isaiah Thomas, all the GOATs at that time, and you got to face them with your roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, if he win that, there's nothing you can say if he wins that. You know, he might not have 6 championships, but his competition at the end of the day was just better.
Right.
yeah, because you can say Mike never played what he called that stacked Golden State Warriors team. Nothing like that.
And it's true.
That's KD.
That's never seen before.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, you know, we're going to continue on the stack with the acquisition of Andre Drummond to, you know, the Lakers, of course, like we talked about earlier. How do y'all feel? Do you believe that it's enough for them to push past that team? You know what I'm saying? Because that's only 3. The Brooklyn Nets got arguably about 5 All-Stars.
I don't know. I don't think he makes that big of an impact because I've never known him to be that great of a player. Like, Blake Griffin had a time where he was by far one of the top 3 or 4 power forwards in the league for years on end.
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge had a spell where he was killing for like 2, 3, 4 years too. Remember the year the Thunder played him, he was feeding them by himself, and that's just like Andre Drummond never did that. He was hurt a lot. He played for bum teams, like. So I just don't know if he makes them so much better where they can beat the Nets, but I feel like it makes them enough where they'll compete with the Nets. LeBron, AD, and another one people don't talk about is Kuzma can make them get busy with the Nets.
That's true.
Now, you still got to go through the Clippers, But I feel like if they go through the Clippers this time,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gives them the one up because the Nets are going to blow through the East.
That's true.
So it's just going to be like battle wounds,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Lakers go. But I just don't know if Andre Drummond's that piece to push him over that hump.
Okay.
See, I agree with him. I don't feel like he pushes them completely over. I feel like they're more in a competition with the Nets now, just because you're adding that extra person that you need, so AD can play outside of what he wants to, and not just have to be that 5. He more or less wants to be a 4 anyways.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a great acquisition in that sense. And at the same time, he gives them what they needed because Marc Gasol, we already know this bummy dinosaur.
He's old as molasses, son.
Oh yeah.
Lakers should have got his brother just to help with him.
Oh, man, for real though.
It might have been the same, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So we're still in this arm race conversation with the acquisition of Rajon Rondo to the Clippers. And we've all, we know Rondo's resume with the Clippers. I mean, with the Celtics, with the Lakers winning those rings. Is that going to be a piece that is going to help them get over that Lakers hump? That those other big-ish names, Denver, all those.
Yeah. Rondo, what he brings, obviously to the table is some experience. A lot of them cats in that team doesn't have no championship experience. I don't know if any of them do.
Not besides Kawhi.
You see, and Kawhi is who he is, but he played with one of the best teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
He never had to lead the squad. Well, Toronto, he let them. I give him that.
Kyle Lowry,
but they was getting to it. But now it's Rondo can come in like, look, let me show y'all some things you might not have seen. Let me tell you what we did with the Celtics. Let me tell you what I did with the Lakers, and then go from there. So it could be a piece that teaches them how to win for that hump. So like when they face a LeBron or they face a Denver, he can be like, this is how you get it done.
Right.
And then even if he's not playing, because obviously he's a lot better in the playoffs than he is in the regular season, but I feel like he could be a great addition to especially those guards like Reggie Jackson and Patrick Bev. Really teach them how to get busy. But that's just how I see it.
Right. And to add to that, before we continue, DeMarcus Cousins signing a 10-day with the Clippers.
And that means he'll be gone in 10 days. That is exactly what that means. Nobody signs DeMarcus to nothing no more.
Why are you doing Boogie?
You already know that,
bro.
I mean, if he can stay healthy,
what was the last team DeMarcus was stayed on? Sacramento.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he got that payday from the Lakers still.
Okay.
He got a check to sit on the bench.
They cut him too, didn't they?
Yeah.
So everybody just say we're gonna cut him. Obviously, something wrong.
Because he gets hurt every year.
If you're that good, nobody putting you on a 10-day. If you're that good, and he was arguably one of the best bigs in the league for a spell. Now you're gonna put him on a 10-day. You ain't put LaMarcus Aldridge on no 10-day. You put him on one though. So in 10 days, we're gonna talk about it. In 10 days, I'm gonna call you on 11. He's gonna be at the house chilling.
So like your best skill is availability. So it's like as long as you're available.
Okay, I feel
that's your best skill.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
If you're not there, what's the point of all that skill for?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with that, I'm not really sure if there's any real other big signees that are gonna help push anybody over that hump. I believe Luka and KP are all they really got down there in Dallas. I'm not too sold on Milwaukee with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis.
Yeah.
So
Didn't they just sign Drew for some more money?
Drew got that 4-year, 160.
Yeah, dude can play D, but I don't know if he. I ain't never known him to do him a whole lot.
Tell you, watch out for Denver this year because I was like Michael Porter's stepping up a lot.
Denver.
Thing is,
I told you,
Michael Porter had a back injury, and that's what scares you the most because once you hurt your back, you really never come back. Now, if he can make it out, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if he not healthy, Denver's done for.
Okay.
Done for because they traded those other pieces, but he legitimately is a walking bucket.
Absolutely.
super.
Just I mean,
Hey, I told
young
this man.
bucket. And if he don't play, and you lost the pieces you got, where your scoring gonna come from?
See, I feel like he'll stay a lot more healthier than compared to like a Boogie because look at his weight and his frame.
Right.
Like he's not carrying around that much weight, so it's not going to be that hard on his back.
Yeah,
So
he
I
ain't
feel
banging
like
a lot either, like DeMarcus.
it's a lot easier for him to come back compared to what he called like a Boogie in that sense.
And I think Denver did a great job doing what they did with him last year, and then just kind of babysitting
Mm-hmm.
it. And then now he came back this year, mad healthy.
Starting.
So yeah,
Now he can rock and roll.
and put a little muscle on his back so
Yeah.
he can carry himself around a lot better. So yeah,
Right. Okay. So as we, talking about Denver, factors going into the playoffs, month and a half left before all this stuff gets starting and really rolling. who is going to have to step up for their team in order for them to be a serious contender to win that championship? Because obviously we know Lakers, Nets, the easiest ones to go for.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to give them their team a chance, who are those teams on the outside looking in that need a player or need that player to step up?
I think the easiest one is Michael Porter Jr. Just like I said,
Mhm.
you already know. Coming off this year, actually being able to start getting that, what do you call it, little bit of playing time last year.
Experience.
Being able to grow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's able to make that step this year, and especially being healthy the full entire year and getting that, what do you call it, experience.
Okay.
I think he's going to grow a lot for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we was talking earlier about Phoenix.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And if for them to make the change they did in one season, you know what I mean? Honestly, 5-6 months
Mm-hmm.
for them to go from legitimate trash to one of the best teams in the West. And if you look at what they got, you got, in my opinion, the best point guard in the game.
Mm.
Then you got who's next to him? Aiden, and you got Devin Booker. So you got the best scorer, arguably one of the top 2-3 best scorers in the league, and then Aiden, who's one of the most progressive bigs in the league. If Aiden don't do his part, then they're not going to win.
So he's going to be the factor for
So
you.
he's going to be the factor for Phoenix because CP3 is going to do him.
Right.
So Devin Booker is going to do him. Now we got to have Aiden flourish into what he going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to get out of him? You know, and especially in the playoffs, he's young,
Mhm.
inexperienced, but CP3 going to put him in situations where he can dominate.
That's true.
So I think for Phoenix, because I like Phoenix, the fact that they turned around, and I'm a huge CP3 fan.
Me
So
too.
I'm like, I want him to win.
Right.
And for you to take a trash team like that and turn it to what it is,
Mhm.
it's unbelievable. But Aiden could be a reason why they win through, a series.
Mhm.
They can win 2 series maybe, depending on who they're facing.
Right.
Because you said number 2 in the West?
Yep.
At this moment.
Mhm.
They was last year
Mhm.
at this time. So it just goes to show the dynamic they have, and all they needed was one little piece. But now you got to have your other young piece step up for them to succeed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, and I think it was you that mentioned Tobias Harris.
Yeah, Tobias.
And he is a bigger name in the game, but he's definitely not considered that all-star player.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And we know Ben can get even if it's a 10-10-10 triple-double,
Right.
and Joel Embiid can go down there and get 20 and 15, 20 and
Mhm.
13. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have that reliable score outside of Joel Embiid, I think is going to definitely be critical because Ben Simmons has been in the league 3, 4, 5, 6 years and still ain't found a jumper.
Yeah. He does. I don't know why. He has one. He just don't ever use it. Like, if you watch, he just don't shoot it.
He really just
He
don't.
just don't
he don't
shoot
try.
it. But if you watch him in the summer, I know it's the summer, you working out. If you can make 5 out of 10 threes, you can shoot threes. Like, you can make 2 out of 5.
Right.
If you got to shoot 5, though, he don't even shoot 1. Like, for the fact that an NBA basketball player
Mm-hmm.
and they gap him from the paint and he's at the 3-point line is disrespectful.
Absolutely.
Like, if I was the other coach, I'd be laughing he dribbling up the floor. Like, shoot it, please.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to show me you can shoot it.
All right.
But Tobias is a known player. So, like, you knew, and Doc knows him. So that's why he flourishes with Doc.
Mhm.
And if he step up, the Sixers will finally get over their hump. But Joel Embiid got to stay healthy. He was on
That's
the
true.
MVP season until he got hurt. Then he got hurt again. So he got to keep his big self healthy so they can make that run.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Ben Simmons fan, and I'm just say this: there's no reason that Andre Roberson, Matthias Thybulle, none of them should shoot more jumpers than you. Should shoot more. None of that.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're a star. You getting voted for all stars and all that stuff. You gotta take that next step. But I definitely think Tobias Harris is gonna be that next piece that they need in order to get over that hump. So as we keep moving forward, I want to do just a quick little out of bounds type thing. Who do you think can be a sleeper pick style, and that those lower seeds that can come up and make some progress? Who do you think in that top 8 can really make some noise outside of the obvious? You know what I'm saying?
What is Portland right now?
Like 5 or 6.
So I'd probably say Portland again.
Mm-hmm.
For them to be the best AC they were last year,
Mm-hmm.
they just, if they stay healthy, they're good.
Right.
Portland could be the one that come in and just knock somebody off randomly because Dame Dollar's a dangerous man.
Absolutely.
And CJ McCollum, to me, they're the best duo guard-wise. I don't care if you got Kyrie, James Harden, and all of them. Them two get to it together.
Yeah.
So that's where on the West. On the East, I can't really. I would probably say, and this is just me.
Mhm.
If Charlotte make it,
Mhm.
Charlotte might get in there and do something big. That's a sleeper like nobody might think. But if LaMelo come back
Mhm.
and they rocking, they might can beat. If they're a 7, they could beat a 2.
Right.
You know, or something like that. They can get that win.
They're 6 right now.
Who?
6 currently.
Charlotte.
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 Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, Charlotte get in. They can make something happen, which would be unbelievable because
Super stretch.
they were buns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were buns.
To
Absolutely.
chime in here, let me ask though, would you pick them over the Knicks in the East to be the
The Knicks
sleeper?
get busy. I'm a Julius Randle fan, so no. I mess with Julius Randle, and I'm rocking with the Knicks.
So you change your pick on that? Like,
I'll take the Knicks. Yeah,
Hey, the Knicks are beating the Nets right now.
Okay.
playing.
Yeah.
Hey, Julius
well, it looks
Randle.
like the Knicks are 7, and then the Hornets are 6.
Mhm.
But it's just by a game.
Who's the 8?
The Celtics, surprisingly.
Wow.
Mm.
See?
How the big have fallen. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
How they
yeah.
have fallen.
And
So, yo, who you think? Who's your West team? Your West sleeper and your East sleeper?
My West sleeper, it's gonna be the Utah Jazz. No one sees them winning, even though they're number 1 right now.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they're one of the best defensive teams out there. So,
that amazes me.
and as long as Donovan Mitchell stays consistent, and then he's had some big time playoff games.
Mhm.
So as long as he can stay consistent in playoff games, not just here and there,
Mhm.
big time games, then they can make some noise in the playoffs, especially with their defense. And you were saying sleeper Joe Ingles.
Joe
Watch
Ingles,
out.
I'm telling you, that's
never
the
know.
one. He
Okay.
tore
Watch
Paul
out.
George up a couple years ago. Remember that? I was watching. I felt bad for Paul George. He was getting torched like a little kid.
No,
Yeah, it is
I'm watching
bad.
that's pandemic P in this room.
I don't. He must have been sick that day because boy was boom boom free ball. I was like, what? He can't even run. He's killing him. He can't even run.
He really can't, bro. He's one of them dudes that you see at the gym playing pickup that just got a water gun that can't do nothing else. He ain't playing too much defense, none of that.
Getting out there busting you like somebody guard him. What you think I'm trying to do?
Right.
All right, well,
Hey, bro, he's shooting that up 10 feet deep. Nah, for sure. So,
who's the East?
I mean, I'll say it Boston just because they're the
Oh,
A seed
okay.
right now. I was just like,
Okay.
I mean, if they can get it together, especially with Marcus Smart being back and actually getting some playing time under his
Yeah.
belt now, that might help a little
How long
bit.
was he out?
He was out for
he just came
2
back.
months.
That's
I
crazy.
think.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
he's their fire though, really.
Yeah,
He's
for
their
sure. He's the
That's
hardest.
what I'm
You
saying.
got that light skinned Jason Tatum. He, you know,
Yeah.
Jalen Brown kind of a different kind of.
Right.
Jalen's a dark light
You know
skin.
what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, everybody
He
else,
got buckets.
Mark Smart coming in like, I'm trying to lock him.
Right.
What's
See,
good?
look, you
Yeah.
already know.
And everybody's like, all right, bro, let's do that. Okay,
Right.
cool.
For sure.
Yeah, that's how I was like.
Are you
super
guys
super.
choosing? Well, so in the Heat or number 5?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we kind of forgot about the Heat.
I was
let
going
them
to
rock.
pick.
I let them rock.
I was gonna pick them. I know it's not with having the Brooklyn Nets and you have Milwaukee, of course, and
Toronto.
I can tell y'all the
Toronto's-
standings so y'all can know.
Yeah.
76ers are 1, the Nets are 2, Bucks are 3,
Mhm.
the Hawks are 4, Heat are 5, the Nets, the Hornets, my fault, the Hornets are 6,
right.
the Knicks are 7, Celtics are 8.
The Hawks are 5.
That's what I'm saying.
What is
4.
going?
Hawks are 4.
What?
Heat is 5.
What is going on? I must have been tripping lately. The
I ain't-
Hawks was buns last year. What happened? Who they pick up?
But that's one thing I was going to ask y'all. Do y'all think this is like early season? I mean, I know it's not early in the season, but still just like,
No,
you
we-
know those teams, like, for instance, the Hawks in the past have made it to the playoffs and everything, and they were the A seed or not, but they still made it, and then they
Right.
still would lose in the first
Well, you
round,
got to
4-0.
think they the 4 seed in the back half of the season.
Right.
That means they playing well.
Mhm.
They've
Sure,
been
yeah.
playing well. So if they can rock and they go in as a 5 seed, that could be one of your sleepers. Because Trey Young is made for the moment.
That's true.
And he trying to get
He's trying.
Trey.
He's been fighting
He
for
held
that
it down.
playoff appearance.
Yeah, he been working hard. He
Gotcha.
held it down for the old. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna put it that way, I'm still riding with the Knicks. But
Mm.
the Hawks would definitely be like my dark horse.
Okay. I'm gonna go with in the West. I'll probably honestly say Denver. Not Denver. I apologize. Dallas. Just because no one's really talking about them. Porzingis hasn't stayed healthy all season.
His whole career.
Yeah. Huh?
His whole career.
I mean, if we gonna be honest, but Luka's is Luka. He's came in since his rookie year and has been a bad man.
Yes.
He's been a bad man.
So was Steve Nash. Remember that.
Wow.
What championship he got? Talk to him.
He's still looking for one like
I can
West.
tell you guys the rankings for the West, too, just so y'all know.
Mhm.
Jazz are number 1, Suns are number 2, Clippers are number 3.
Mhm.
Nuggets are number 4. Lakers are number 5. Trailblazers are number 6. Mavericks are number 7. And the Grizzlies are number 8.
Okay. And to be
The
honest,
Grizzlies, wow.
I don't.
They are.
No.
They
I like
are.
John Morant. but right now, they ain't got him no help. And Jaren Jackson ain't played all season.
Oh, really?
Jaren Jackson Jr. ain't played all
Imagine
season.
him with Zebo and Marc Gasol back then. With John
What?
Morant, too. That would have been a crazy team.
And,
Tony
and Mike
Allen.
Conley.
Yeah, they had Tony Allen, too, right? Am I tripping?
At
Yeah,
one
they had
point,
Tony Allen.
Yeah, I'm
the
like-
clamp god.
Yeah,
Shout out to
bro.
him.
Mike Conley just got paid. He like however old he is, and he just went to 3-point contest.
That would have been crazy. Imagine
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because Zach Randolph was the baddest left-handed post
Mhm.
walking boy.
Hey, I remember whenever him and Boogie met at the free throw line. I don't know what it was, and he said something. He was like, "Where I come from, we bully the bullies."
Yeah, we
I was like, "Damn."
Facts.
Like, bro, you like 15 years older than this man, but you know,
You try to bully him, what's good?
Yeah,
The
for
old man
sure.
ain't playing with that.
always been like that. And you know, to Alex's point earlier, I would definitely go with the Miami Heat in the East just because they went to the finals last year. They got Victor Oladipo. What I'm gonna say is that they're lacking in the center position. Obviously,
Yeah.
Myers Leonard got traded and released by the Thunder, and then Kelly Olynyk got traded to the Rockets. So it's gonna be tough for them. Yeah, Bam's nice, but it's like, what do you have outside of Bam in the post to really help solidify what you got down there?
I think Coach gonna try to small ball. He gonna try to small ball it and go from there. But who's gonna be the small
Mhm.
if Bam's not in there? Like,
Right.
what do you do?
Right,
Who's at the 5? Like really, Duncan Robinson? You know what I'm saying? What do you do?
right. They don't
Because
have
there's
a
their
big.
backup. You know him, but I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? He a young cat who,
What? And they got rid of Kelly Olynyk too.
Right, yeah, he's
So
at the
it's-
Rockets.
and they don't realize like a lot of the other great players are bigs. Who
Yes.
gonna guard Jokic? You know what I'm saying? Who- You know all that type.
Oh, yeah.
Joel Embiid. You got all those bigs. Like who's gonna guard him?
Antetokounmpo.
Bam got foul trouble last year. What happened? They start sucking. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He got hurt or whatever. They struggled because they big guy was gone, and he was cold last year.
Absolutely.
See, my biggest thing with them is just like you can't sleep on anybody being the Eastern Conference champions last year. So
Yeah.
it's like everybody's gonna get your best,
Right.
like especially in the playoffs because they know what to expect from you this year.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not gonna sneak up on anybody.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if they'll get it.
So, because we've been kind of flying through these, so I'm gonna add a little one in there. A piece away, one to two pieces away was some of these teams. They have a big two, or they got some okay guys, but they need that one guy. Who is the team that you would say needs one more piece to put them in that, whether it be playoff contention, whether it be contention for the ring? Who is the team that you think of when it's like, dang, if they had this, they'd have a chance?
I might think on
I
it.
think Boston really missed out because they
Mhm.
needed Andre Drummond and they really missed out on that sweepstakes because right now they're lacking a big name big.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually going to help them. And you already know Drummond's coming 2020
Yeah,
Right.
every game, so it's just like
yeah.
As long as you can keep that toe wrap.
I probably he got turf toe on the court. Don't even make no sense.
Boy.
I'm probably gonna say Dallas
Mm.
because you have to find somebody that's dependable because he's gonna be out.
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis is gonna be hurt. That's just the reality of the situation. He's cold when he plays,
Right.
but you don't have a piece to help alleviate some of that stress he be holding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got he got to do it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Doncic got to legitimately do it by himself when he's not there. So I feel like you get another piece in there that solidifies as a scorer or whatever it is, they'll be able to flourish and actually jump over that hump of winning a game or two that they shouldn't.
Okay. And you can call this personal bias because this is my team outside of the Thunder once we get back to where we need to
Who
be.
is that?
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, geez.
So hear me out.
Sleepers.
Hear me out real
Buns.
quick. You have Lonzo Ball, who arguably had his best 3-point shooting game the other night with 8 3-pointers.
27 points.
Did they win?
I'm not
Yeah.
exact. Yeah, I think they
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
did. And they had no Zion, no Brandon Ingram.
Okay. So that's why he shot so many threes.
It's true, but he made 8.
I give
You
him,
know
he
what I'm
has been
saying?
shooting well, I heard.
You already know since Melo got in the league and everybody's been talking
Yes.
shit, the nigga's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
on his
Yeah, he
game.
trying to work.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
he's like, I'm not finna let little bro outdo
you
me.
already know
Right.
my boy's been hooping.
For sure. And then you so you got Lonzo, then you have Brandon Ingram, you have Zion. I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, that little 2 guard that they picked up in the draft last year, I believe, or the year before. But I think, that one shooting guard, Steven Adams, since he left, or without Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams has been non-productive.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
He would have never got paid. He played with nobody else.
Right.
Period.
He would have been a big body except good screens.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what's been shown with this team. So, I think if they get a 2 guard, I was hoping they'd pick up like a Victor Oladipo, somebody that's just, even if it's just to drive and kick outside threes, hit some shots. They just need another playmaker to meet because what Zion's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to respect what he does because he knows what he does well and he does it at a high clip.
Right.
So Brandon Ingram, most improved player last year. Lonzo Ball he's not the most aggressive, but he's a pass first oriented point guard. Right.
Point guard.
So in my opinion, I would definitely go with just them. They need one more piece, and I think next year they might be coming for some heads. So
No, that's not true. I'm just saying.
what? Zion has grown men is banging with. I'm talking not even just little guys. You see how he ripped the ball from Antetokounmpo last year?
Let me
he
tell
going
you
at
something. When cats lose their athleticism, when they start losing it, they start to suck.
Yeah, it's true.
That's just the reality of it. Every guy except LeBron, if they lost their athleticism, they just start being buns. And the other one that's doing it right now that hasn't is Russ.
Mm-hmm.
So Russ is kind of fighting time too.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else, Vince Carter, all those type cats, T-Mac, all them cats with the bounce in the knees, Brandon Roy, Derrick Rose. Once they lost it, it was just kind of like, all right, go ahead to the side. So for him to be that big, then if he was to lose the bounce, he really don't shoot. You never really see him pat, and he get to the rim. But when he gets to the rim, he jumping 30 feet in the air off your body layup. When he start jumping 15, you know what I'm saying, it might get beat off the glass a couple times.
For sure, because I believe he leads the league in getting his shot blocked as well as having the highest field goal percentage
Really?
or one of the highest field. Yeah, he's one of the most, if not the most.
But he probably shoots more layups than anybody else.
Right, that's his go-to. So as we go through, man, I'm gonna take a quick jump over into our lifestyle because we've kind of flown through these basketball, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? Basketball's our shit. We can do that shit easy. So I want to jump into mentoring. We all play basketball at some level or some extent in our life, and I just want to hear from y'all's stories on what made you get into coaching or mentoring because it's not the easiest thing. You can play a game, but you may not be good at communicating it to others and teaching it. So what is your story as you got into your coaching?
Yeah, so if you see me, I'm a big guy. So choosing to play basketball was a challenge in itself. Now my confidence and the fact that I knew the game, I was intelligent enough to play the game and play to my strengths with my size. So that really helped me a lot. But then the coaching is what really impacted me. My coaches impacted me on showing me how much you can be positive in a young man's life. Because if it wasn't for the coach I had, there's some things might not turn out the way they are. And now I still coach with him. I've been with him as my dog. We've been together for going on 10 years. But when I got into coaching, I was young. I was 18, 19. I'm coaching the guys that I just played with. So it gave me a sense of dependence, like they depend on me for these things, emotional conversations, because I'm still young and they feel comfortable talking to me. So that's what helped me become that type of coach first. Then I got my head coaching job as a freshman coach when I was 21, and obviously that year it was amazing. We went undefeated, flourished, but even in that, it taught me, like, even those great players, they sometimes need you even more. So when it comes to being a mentor, it's like, I want to help my kids on basketball first. We have 2 hours of that. I got you. But after that, I want you to have an outlet to where if you need me, I got you. Something that I had in that same situation. So my mentorship and coaching really came from my relationships with my former coaches. There was a time, I tell a story, I was a sophomore and I was playing and I mean, my jumper was not falling. I mean, it just was not falling. And coach like, keep shooting it. And I promise you, I could not make it. Like, there was nothing I was doing that I could make it. So I'm like, sub me out. And he subbed me out. And I'm livid mad. Like to the point where one of my teammates would have said something, I probably would have gave him the work. That upset. And so he grabbed me. I remember he grabbed me, turned around, he said, hug me. And I would want to fight him. Like, I'm serious. Like, I was ready to whoop him just because. And he grabbed me and I hugged him. And he whispered in my ear. He said, you good? It's all good. Just keep shooting. Shoot or shoot. And from that day on, it was like, wow, those couple words calmed me down from a time where back in the day, if I got that mad, it was on. There was no coming down from it.
Right.
So he was just like, boom. And so now I can do that with players because my players get frustrated with our head coach, live with him. They come to me, what are you trying to say? Like, let me show you what he's trying to say. You hear it different than what he's saying. He might be saying it different than what he means. Let me put it to you like this. So when it comes to coaching basketball, like the mentorship part of it is the reason why I don't have no desire to be a head coach anymore. I love being an assistant because you can build that relationship with your players. Okay. Like I can legitimately have them come to my house if they got something going on in their life, girlfriend break up with them, school struggling, parents is, not seeing eye to eye, then their siblings get into it. They can come to my house or we can meet somewhere and just talk. And I'm like, cool, how you doing? We can go to the gym, get some shots up, get your body rolling, your blood flowing. Then we could just chop it up. So that's where my mentorship and my coaching, it really gave me purpose in my life. Because before that, I didn't know what it was going to be. I just didn't. And now, when it comes to being a mentor in basketball, it can help me be a mentor in life too. And that's where it blessed me like no other.
Right. 100%. Hey, yo, quick story, some stories that you got, man?
Definitely. I'll say the reason why I really got into training is watching both of y'all. Because, seeing, when we worked together, seeing you go and coach and seeing how the players reacted with you, I've always been that type of person who, I'm a person who loves to show, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
So I love to teach and love to show people how to learn to do things. So
seeing
you do it, especially you remember the day we went to the gym with Whittier and it was me, you, and D'Lo. And I brought Mason, it was Jabari, and then he brought the other youngin. And then we're out there, and then Mason was at the lowest, obviously, of them two, being the youngest also too.
Right.
But seeing that and just seeing how y'all reacted with both of them and then how they grew, and then seeing you with your players and like you said, being able to make that impact in their life, it really gave me opportunity to put basketball and then my life all in one to where I can show people how to grow, not also on the court but off the court, and show them how to grow as men. Right. So really, definitely that was one big impact in my life.
For sure.
Y'all two were definitely.
I appreciate that, man. Didn't know that for sure. I appreciate that.
We didn't really talk about it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Hey, then that's what we're here for. This that stuff that we're here for. Coaching, definitely. You sparked it, man. And I didn't know you like that. We was cool, but we wasn't. It definitely over time we've gotten closer. But seeing you coach and whatever, a quick little story. Jabari was playing at AAU, and I never had the opportunity to play at AAU. We didn't even know about it like that. And, Jabari was a little bit better than average. So he's playing for this coach, and he's not getting no playing time and all this stuff. And I didn't really get no play time anymore, but I could kind of see the game. And for those of y'all, a lot of people think, oh, well, you didn't play at this level, so how can you teach this? You didn't do this. You don't tell Coach Popovich that because he don't have 6 rings. You don't tell, Coach Krzyzewski or John Calipari, well, you didn't do this, so how can you try to teach somebody else the game of basketball? Well, I remember one game, Jabari, in the beginning, Jabari wasn't getting no play time. Coach was sitting him on the bench. He'd come over there crying and stuff like that. And to me, I know how competitive we are as a family, and to see that he cared so much about playing the game of basketball, I knew that I loved it. I wasn't the best at it. Like I said, I didn't get any play time really in high school unless I was just out there to play defense. So it was a tournament, and one of the coaches was just sitting on the bench, not really saying anything. Yeah. It was just one of those, oh, you fucked up. Get out the game. Go sub him. Yeah. Go get him. Right. And there was no constructive criticism. There was no communication. So we were in Texas, and one of the head coaches of the whole organization, he was like, go over there. So I'm walking over there, and it's tough for me because in my eyes for a long time, me and my brothers, we didn't really have that connection. We were brothers. If it came down to it, we'll swing for one another, but it wasn't none of that. You can talk to me like this or, that closeness. So, I go over there, we're coaching. I'm coaching for the first time. I'm standing up. I'm not knowing players. I'm number 23, number 7. This is what you do, whatever. Yeah. So this is literally my first tournament. We're going down there. It is the 4th quarter. Donovan, you know what I'm talking about. They were in 3rd grade. We're down 3, and there's 5 seconds left. I'm like, this is what we're going to do. Jabari, you're going to run in here, you know, woo-woo, you're going to pass, kick it out. Jabari's pissed. And I love that about him because, you know, the competitiveness, he wants that to be able to do that for his team. But Jabari does exactly what I asked. He goes in there, kicks it to Donovan. Donovan shoots a 3, gets fouled, misses it. So we're over there, and he's crying. Donovan's crying, just like
nervous,
full tears. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You got 3 free throws coming up. And he's like, Coach, if I miss him, we're going to lose a game. It's a championship, blah, blah, blah. So he gets up there, Ref tosses the ball, shoots it, makes the first one. Tears starts crying even harder. He's like grabbing his shorts, like, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, you good, you got this, whatever, you know? Goes back to the line, hits the second one, and he's crying, and he's, you know, trying to, you know, lock in. Gets the third one, knocks it down. We play defense. We go into overtime. We win that game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the response from those kids after that, you know, it wasn't about, oh, you know, who had been there before. They were just happy to win. And they asked me to come back and to continue coaching and keep helping. And Jabari was like, you know, like he was like, dang, you actually know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And from that point on, like, it was something that I knew, like, it was a bridge for me and Jabari to kind of build that relationship. And, you know, outside of NBA basketball and Russell Westbrook, Jabari is definitely my favorite basketball player with his passion and the way that he plays the game. You know what I'm saying? I love somebody that has that fire, you know, like you. Big guy, like you always say, but you have that fire to compete against anybody, and there's nobody that can tell you that you ain't good. Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? For a long time, like, we compete one-on-one, you know, with a cutthroat, whatever. We're going 3 dribbles, and we working and doing stuff together. So
steadily.
It's just that situation where you can communicate with the next generation, because it's hard, because we've all been those kids that didn't want to hear shit, you know, and it's hard, but I love that, because now, you know, you can see those kids looking up to you. They, you know, they come back later on in life and they give you that hug, and you don't, you know, you ain't seen them in a minute, and they grown with beards and shit. So
it's, think about it, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, man.
You know, I got players right now call me, hey, I'm coming home soon, can we grab dinner, blah blah. I'm like, sure, and they grown, so it's like they want to have a drink, we can. And I'm like, I remember when you was a 14-year-old kid in 9th grade, you know. But it's the relationships you build with the players and the way basketball can bring you in is one of the best feelings in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you think about when you're training, if you see one of your little brother or somebody you're training do something that you teach them, and they get it down, it just makes you feel so good. Like, bro, that's nice. You doing great. It just gives you such a great fulfillment in yourself to know that you're helping someone be better at what they want to do, even though you love it too. You're just trying to teach them how to love the game for what everything it is, but make them better than you were.
Absolutely.
So that's what I love the most.
Exactly. That's why I was like, I'd add on to that. That's why I started like training, especially with my brother, because like when we were playing, like I told you, he was at the lowest out of the kids, and I really saw that. So I wanted to build him up, because he wasn't getting the most playing time, but and he was getting frustrated of why am I not getting playing time, and I was just like, I understand what you need to do. You just haven't had that training yet. And he finally, because for me, it was really hard being like him being a little kid and not being able to listen when I'm trying to explain some shit, and you already know when they don't get it, they don't get it. Yeah. And it's just like it takes time for them to grow up and understand what you're trying to teach them. And it took me for a while, like being a trainer, to understand like not everybody's going to get it off the first pace. You got to be able to grow with them and be able to learn. But being able to like work with him from these past 4 years, and able to like teach someone younger to older, I really love it. Like he's saying, and
it helps your relationship with you, especially with your little siblings.
Oh yeah,
me and him, we used to get at it, you know. But I used to train him like crazy. No matter if he was playing or not. Like there was a time in his life he played, there's a time he wasn't. But if I was like, you want to go to the gym? He like, yeah. I'm like, let's get to it. And even if he didn't play, like I got videos on my Instagram where he do something, it just made me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it, bro. Yeah. And then when we start playing, he busts somebody. I'm like, yeah, bro, give him the work. You know, but that helps our relationship with our siblings sometimes. Like, if you're watching Dante play football, you just happy for him. You know what I'm saying? Just so happy for him, because no matter if they do good or bad, they're doing something they love. And the fact that you can help them in some way, form, or fashion, it's always nice.
Okay, I'm not sure how much. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Bro, I'm gonna say though, your brother real life think he can beat me 1-on-1.
He's
I don't
crazy.
know what's wrong with him, but
he's
Who is he talking about?
Dante think he can beat me
Okay.
1-on-1.
Oh, I'm about to say Bari different. Dante can
Jabari
Yeah,
can't
but
either.
Barry would've been
Okay.
first.
Sorry,
Okay.
just saying, bro.
I put my cash up on
Dante
Bari.
dead, like for real, believe it, bro. Like,
No, Dante can't.
and I'm
beat
like,
you.
bro, you realize he's
Dante
like,
got
bro,
a shot, but I don't know about the rest. Dante,
When the
like,
last time Dante ran?
Hey, look,
time out.
we're not gonna do my.
When the last time Dante ran? I bet you I run harder than Dante right now in this spring.
You might run harder. I don't know
Hey.
if you win, but you know.
I got a question though. So
Yes,
earlier
sir.
y'all were talking about stacking the teams and stuff,
Mhm.
and it made me start thinking about. Do y'all think we're moving into like a generation of this because of like AAU and stuff? Like how everybody plays together on AAU teams and like there's so much. Because I was thinking I know it's random, but like prime time back then they
Right.
had Trey, Keon. I mean, they had everybody on one
Stacker,
team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, what if we're just moving into because I feel like AAU heavy now, where people want to be on these teams
Loading
with
up.
their homies and they all cold.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe that's what it is. Because if you think about it, stacking is coming from like LeBron, Steph era type of people, and that's when like AAU was coming. I feel like becoming bigger, I guess you
Right.
would say.
2010 is when Boston Celtics joined, I believe. They
Mhm.
made
Yeah.
supposed to be the first triple team.
Yeah.
Then LeBron did what he did. When LeBron did what he did, it basically was like you
Open
put
the
a
door.
stamp on it and you can go do it.
Yeah,
And so, and that's why I say I'm old fashioned. So the new era of stacking may be the new era.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of it, but it's definitely going in that route because it's more so like people are so fixated on winning, but they don't want to really go through the grind that you have to win like you had to back in the day. They just want to get their homies together and just whoop everybody, and that's that.
Right.
So that's why Kevin Durant be getting all the slack he get, because it's like, hey man, you was really getting busy in OKC. Everybody respected you for that. Now that you go to Boston, a lot of people don't. I mean, not Boston, but Golden State, no, a lot of people don't. Now that you went to the Nets, a lot of people like, bro, what you got going on? You ruining the game is how people looking at it. And I'm like, you can't say you ruining it. It just might be what it is now.
Right.
You know, and every era is different. It's just what it like I look at it like the Lakers when they had Shaq, Kobe, Rick Fox, Derek Fisher,
Ron Artest.
Ron Artest, like that whole team. To me, that's a stacked team.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, it just wasn't. You know, it was Shaq and Kobe, and that's what it was.
I feel like it was still stacked. It's just instead of the organization doing it, it's players doing it nowadays.
That's
They're
true.
saying,
and that's
I
what
wanna
I'm trying
go
to say.
here.
Kind of is like that they're probably remembering the times of high school and AAU when they got to play with their homies. They was just running. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Running
fun.
shit. That's all they did. Win championships was easy back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like you watch LeBron old tapes, it was easy for him in high school. Or Kevin Durant, whoever they go to these special academies, wherever schools, and they just play however they want and win championships.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to NBA and it's harder, you got more pressure. I bet you, for like Kevin Durant instantly, he probably just thinking, why would I not just go this route and play with the best players? Because if you notice, when they all do the All-Star game stuff, they talk about how fun it is
Mm-hmm.
playing with other great players because it's so easy to do. Like look at Steph and LeBron together. That was unbelievable. If they really imagine them in the playoffs together, like
Man.
that'd be insane.
Man.
It's hard when you think about, like you say, they started so young. It becomes their normal.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize when it's easy growing up, like it's legit easy. You playing with your homies, everybody's good. Y'all been together forever. You want to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to change. Like your KD, you go to Texas, do your thing, then you go to the Thunder, and they're pitiful. But then you get handed two cats, and you're like, okay, there's a future ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of them say, I'm gonna do my own thing. So then you leave. It's only because you wanted your norm. So he goes to his norm.
Mm-hmm.
And no knock against the man. That's his decision. It's his job. But LeBron, he like, I did what I did. Y'all killed me for it. You killed me for it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, he in my opinion, he look at it like, I don't want to be known like that.
Mm-hmm.
I took that. Now I want to do something different. So
Right.
now all he got is AD. And if you tell me 2 can be 4, you're great.
Yeah.
T.Y.
Go ahead, bro. My fault.
T.Y. Michael Porter Jr. to the Thunder 2027.
That would
Calling
be
it in.
crazy.
Calling it.
I
Extra.
just didn't know. Do y'all think maybe like the championship pressure is what caused all this anyway?
Yeah, it is. The
Like-
fact that Charles Barkley didn't have one is, I feel like, is the reason why a lot of cats do what they do.
AI.
And, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, AI,
Yeah.
like all those. I mean, you're phenomenal.
Steve Nash.
You see what I'm saying? Steve Nash had Amari Stoudemire. You had Mutombo. You had all these cats that had these teams. We just couldn't get it done. So they like, but those cats are like, nah, we ain't gonna do what they do. We wouldn't have did what they did. We gonna compete. Like that's what we want to do, and that's what we talk about competition.
Mm-hmm.
We're old fashioned. We want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't just want to just blow everybody out. I want to go with us 3 versus Alex and his 2 homies, and we get after it.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely we're gonna win. But that's just how it's
Come on
gonna
now.
go.
All right.
And we can wrap it up after here, but I just one more question because I'm wondering. You talk about competition. One thing y'all didn't talk about last week with this Stephen A. Smith and Russell Westbrook going back and forth because he was criticizing Russell for not having a ring and saying no matter what, how many triple doubles you got, whatever you do, you ain't got the ring. So what do y'all think about that? Considering Russell's like the standard in the league, people say he the number one. He'll kill you on the court. He don't care if it's mom or whoever. But at the same time, he's saying, well, no matter what, I'm happy, my family happy. I don't care about them rings. So I feel like that's contradicting in a way because it's like it's the NBA. You know, you grew up watching people win rings. You want one. But in reality, like Damian Lillard even tweeted about it today, it's like I got millions of dollars. I got a happy family. So it's like, what do y'all think about that? Do you think an NBA player can truly be named competitive and that grind, that killer, if they're not, if they just like, I don't care if I get a ring or not?
I mean, we saw with Allen Iverson, you know, just that killer mentality and that killer instinct. He went against everybody the way that he did. And at the end of the day, like a lot of people wanted to be AI. You know what I'm saying? LeBron talked about the headband and the sleeves and the tattoos. Like, you still make an impact on the game. You can still be an all-time great because people refer to AI as AI. I mean, he's that guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We left out T-Mac too.
And T-Mac.
T-Mac too.
But I guess it all comes down to where you place your value at. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like they said, you have millions of dollars. You can take care of your family, you know, your family's family for a long time. If you didn't get a ring, you know you competed the way that you did, the hardest way that you could at all times. And if you don't get that ring and you're okay with that, cool. But that's why, like, you know, we talked about people making those super teams is because they want that ring. But
and a lot of people, I think, a lot of athletes feel like their career's justified on rings. Like, especially the new era guys. Like, if I don't got a ring, then what was I doing type of thing. But you got those old-fashioned minds like Dame, you know what I'm saying, Russ, where they're like, if you look at the grand scheme of things, what's that championship really matter? It's only, 18 years of my life. I didn't get one. Now I got 40, 50 more years to live. But I did great for 18 years. Everything I got, blood, sweat, and tears. If I didn't get a championship, it is what it is.
Right.
Now I got healthy kids, healthy parents, family, friends. That's what really matter. And I look at it like, as a competitor in basketball, you obviously want to get a ring. But in life, that to me, that's the right perception of it. To me, that's what matters to them. His family being cool and everybody being straight. So I think it was the right prediction.
It depends, like you said, what type of competitor you are. Because, like, you either in that Tom Brady, like, you're pretty much obsessed with it, like Michael Jordan level, or you like we said last week, you're cat. You're cool with being in the NBA, like
making $100 million.
You're making $100 million. Honestly, like, you can't say much. You're doing great in life. You're feeding your
because when you in high school and junior high, whatever may be coming up, they just say make it to the league.
That's it.
I mean, I guess y'all have a point. I was just wondering because we didn't talk about that. That was a big story,
Right?
that was going back and forth. So I didn't know what y'all was thinking.
So real quick before we get off, with the super teams and the stacking and everything, does that begin to devalue the ring once you win it? Does that?
I'd say no, just because, like, it's still hard to win a ring. It's still hard to, win that championship in the NBA. Like, especially going through, like, the top-level teams. Like, nothing's handed to you.
Okay.
I say that. When you were the Golden State Warriors with KD, that was handed.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and honestly, when you say that, I think about it like if a stacked team wins, like, it really, really devalues it. Especially if it's like Golden State did it 2-3 times. Then that coach is like, well, that third time, and I really had no expectations. We were just expected to win. Like, you don't want that feeling.
Right.
You know, even when you're playing, you don't want to think, oh, yeah, we're just going to beat everybody.
Right.
See, I feel like it's for the extra player because, like, we only look at it like that for KD. We don't look at it like that for Clay and Steph. Yeah. But at the same time, like, this year, we're going to look at it like that for James Harden if they win. And then KD and Kyrie are going to get their rings and no one's going to say much. Yeah. So it just depends. If you're that third person, you already know. Yeah. You're riding the coattails.
Okay.
I was gonna say too, I guess it's the mentality. I think Shaq and them said, like, you complain about these stacked teams, beat them. Like, no matter what, like, if it comes down to it, you could beat them. If you really, I mean, they're stacked. Don't get me wrong, but they're not unbeatable.
Right, because Kobe wouldn't say shit.
Because do you think about the time though when Kobe and CP3 is supposed to be put together, that GM or the owner of the league was like, we not letting that happen.
Right.
Because he wanted the competition to be competition, equal
NBA,
competition.
What do you call it?
You see what I'm saying? The NBA owner commissioner was like, we not having that. 3 years later, Then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, y'all can join teams.
Yeah.
But they knew you put CP3 and Kobe on the same team in their primes.
And that's when
There's
they had
a-
like Gasol and Bynum, Andrew Bynum.
There's
I
a
think.
big chance they winning. Bum, 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 bum. And
A lot of basketball IQ together.
yeah, you see what I'm saying? And Kobe, arguably the best shooting guard ever to walk the earth.
Yes, sir.
And then you got CP3, arguably top 5 point guard,
All
maybe
time.
top 3 all time. And then you got at the time the best big duo with Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol running that triangle offense, killing people.
Yes, sir.
So that just goes to show the difference when in just a couple years from when stacking was like, nah, we're not cool with that.
With
to when it
David
was
Stern.
like, when it was like, cool, yeah, we'll let you do your thing.
Right.
And then now the league has came to what it's came
Yeah,
to.
Adam Silver to David Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna do one quick last flip just because I wanted to get it before we got out of here. But we were all talking about our brothers and everything, right? As we were coaching and mentoring. What is a story you have from your brother that gave you that feeling, instantly because you had worked and you put that time in, and with you as well? I'm gonna let you hit this one first. What is a story that you have about your brother that just gave you that, like, damn, that's my guy?
I'd definitely say it was probably the last Norman High game.
Mm-hmm.
My little dude. He didn't score that much, but at the same time, he showed everybody in that, like, gym, especially coming from Norman North to transferring and then playing with all the kids from Longfield, the new Mason when he wasn't the greatest kid,
Mm-hmm.
to showing everybody now, like, I can do some shit now. Now
Right.
I can hoop. Especially having that chance to play varsity next year, too, is definitely big
Absolutely.
for me.
Tony?
So Alex was always one of the better ones when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then he obviously he quit playing when he got a little older, like middle school, so on and so forth. But he always had the love to train. So there was a time in our life where we didn't speak for a little bit,
Mhm.
and it was just what it was. And then we came back to being cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started playing in the gym, training all the time. He was with he was with me, so we as brothers we play 1-on-1. That's just what it is. He never beat me in his whole life.
Mhm.
Like, it's just what it was. So we're playing in the gym one day. And he really giving me some work, like making me struggle. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. So then I'm trying to turn it up. Well, he know my game now.
Mm-hmm.
So he cutting off my dribbles and all this type of stuff. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have to bully you. Like, that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I finally felt like the strength of my little brother was there.
Right.
He wouldn't let me push him around. And then he beat me that day.
Mm.
And ironically, we ain't played since.
Really?
You see what I'm saying? He beat me, and that for me it was like, okay, it's kind of one of those things like, all right, you hand the trophy, or you hand the throne over to your brother.
Right.
For me, it made me feel good because I'm like, you still got it.
Yeah.
Even though you don't play, you're not in athletics no more. You still got it, bro.
Hell
And
yeah.
I love that about you because you're my little brother, and basketball is what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if you have the opportunity, you're gonna go out there and do your thing too. So that was one of my big moments.
Hell yeah. I'll definitely say we were in Chicago for a basketball tournament, and I wasn't coaching him particularly at the time. I was just doing the video recording, and it's a close game. I think it's like a 4-point deficit, and we're down. So Jabari's in the right corner. He's, doing a little side shuffle to get towards the corner. He catches it. There's a dude right here, probably 3 feet. Jabari gives a head fake. And then the dude bites. Jabari drives in, baseline, boom, boom. And he's looking at the rim. And I'm just like, okay, he's going to hit a floater. But this other kid's coming over. So I'm like, damn, he's going to get a charge. Because I know Jabari ass is goofy. Like, Jabari don't give a damn. He's just going. And he's looking, and he does a pound dribble. And if you know me, I've always loved the John Wall not jump in the air 360, but that hard dribble spin, the one him D Rose do. And Jabari bounced that motherfucker and hit a spin around that kid, and I'm talking bare, almost under the rim, and right hand just lifts it up, and it hits the back of the rim. Boom, boom. And he's chunky at the time, so his weight spun him around for an extra circle, and I'm sitting here, bro, damn near in tears, because it's a close game, and for him to have the do the pump fake, drive in, lure a defender in with his eyes, have him fully commit, spin, and have the body control as I think 4th or 5th grader, and I'm like, you worked to get to that level, because I remember when you couldn't dribble, your shit was stiff.
Right.
And to hit that move in a close game in that situation, bro, I was just like, that was probably when he became my favorite player outside of NBA basketball
That's dope.
ever.
That's dope.
For sure.
My boy Barry gets to it sometimes.
Yeah. Barry, Mason, Alex, anybody, our little brothers, Dante, I got a story for you later. But I just want to let y'all know we love y'all. And, we're the oldest, but we also want to, just be there for y'all and teach y'all these things and be the big brothers that we wanted to be, and just give y'all that game. And we appreciate y'all because we haven't only mentored y'all. Y'all have showed us how to be men. And we love y'all for that. And I appreciate y'all. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us, man. We appreciate y'all joining us. Go ahead, Alex.
Hold on, Paul. I was going to let everyone know. It'll be like a week or so, and this will be on Apple Podcasts. But right now it's on Spotify, and then it'll be on YouTube. And so are we doing every Monday? Is that what we decided?
Every Monday?
Yeah.
All right, every Monday at noon. So the video will be up, and then should be Apple Podcasts like a week or so, and then Spotify for sure. Every
Okay.
Monday at 12.
All right.
For sure.
Make sure to plug the Instagram. What's the Instagram? Is it from the Jump
From the
Podcast?
Jump Podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro. My fault.
Follow us on From the Jump Podcast, you know what I'm saying, on Instagram.
We'll have Twitter soon.
Yep.
And what's the
We'll
other
do
one?
TikTok too, probably.
Yeah,
Man,
TikTok.
put around.
Yeah. We're gonna have it all cracked.
Probably, obviously, too, send in questions or something y'all got, like basketball related, y'all want to hear.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw them in there, whatever, maybe.
Q&As, baby, Q&As.
All about
Absolutely.
it.
Hey, I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for all the love and response that we've got from the first episode. It means a lot. It's just four brothers here sitting here talking about everything we love, from basketball to the people we love, in life. It means everything to us, man. We just here doing this, sharing life with each other.
Hey, happy birthday, Mason.
Happy birthday, Mason, man.
Shout out, man.
Shout out
All
to you.
love, baby.
Young
Yeah.
16 today.
We appreciate y'all for joining us here on episode 2 of the From the Jump podcast. I'm DJ,
Ayo.
Tone.
and we gone.